What's up, space fans? Welcome back to the Kerbal Space Center. Last time we were going to spend our science points on some new stuff. So what did we decide? We were looking at general rocketry, which gives us more engines, stability, which gives us some aerodynamic and structural parts, or survivability, which gets us a little bit more science and a little bit more interesting devices and such as heat shields and stuff. So for today's mission, we're going to try to get to orbit. So to get to orbit, I think we're going to need the general rocketry package. So let's go ahead and spend some of our science on the general rocketry. Now, with those new parts, we can go to the VAB and start designing a new rocket. So I'll take this old one and dump it. We'll more or less start the same way though. We have a pod, and we're going to attach the parachute first, and then because we have one, we're going to add a decoupler. Now, what I think we should do is we should build a two-stage rocket, because the first stage gets very inefficient if we just do one stage all the way to orbit, because one engine is going to have to carry all sorts of empty fuel tanks and stuff up into space. So to solve this problem, we're going to use two different engines. We're going to use the Reliant engine on what we're going to call the upper stage, and then we're going to attach a decoupler to the bottom of that engine. We're going to hit Control and scroll down a bit. Don't have to hit Control. And then we're going to add a bunch more fuel tanks down here. So I think we'll do, I don't know, let's say 5. Let's see if that works. And then for this stage, we're going to use the swivel engine. And the reason for that, the difference between these two is that the Reliant engine is a little bit lighter and it provides more thrust, but it can't point anywhere. So it's only going to thrust straight back, whereas the swivel engine can vector. It has thrust vectoring, which means it can point in different directions and can help stabilize the rocket. And for this little piece up at the top, I think we can get away with just the direction holding abilities of the pod. But for the big whole rocket, I think we're gonna need that thrust vectoring down there. And why not? Just to make it look cool, let's do some fins. Okay, so this is one of the things that took me a long time to figure out about Kerbal Space Program. I was going around trying to place these fins individually, like one, and then grab another one and say, okay, that's about, perfect. Is it far up enough? Is it far down enough? Don't have to do any of that. What you do is you come down here to the symmetry count, and let's crank that up to 4. Now when I select the piece and put it back on, it's automatically going to add 4 of these fins in perfect quadrilateral symmetry. So you can go all the way from 2 up to 8, I think. Yeah, that's 8. So you can add a lot of fins, or later on, boosters. So this looks like a far more capable rocket. Let's see if we can get into space. So there's the first engine, decoupler, engine, so we'll put those two together. Decoupler, parachute, okay, we'll put those two together. Alright, so what does these blue tabs show us? That tells us the meters per second of delta V, or the change in velocity that stage is capable of. So this is telling us that the first stage here will change our velocity by up to 1,573 meters per second. So it goes from 0 to 1,573 meters per second, or from, say, 1,000 meters per second to 2,500 meters per second. And this is how we track how much that rocket is going to be able to do. Is it going to be able to escape the Earth's gravity or the Kerbin's gravity? Is it going to be able to get into orbit? So let's see. Total, we have just about 2,000. Yeah, just shy of 2,500 meters per second of delta V. So let's see if that's enough to get us into orbit. So we'll title this Orbit Attempt number 1. Save and launch. Alright, here are our back launch pad, same rules as before, SAS on, RCS on, throttle up. Check the staging one last time, looks good. Alright, let's fire. In 3, 2, 1, liftoff. So immediately you can see that we're not going quite as fast. This thing isn't leaping into the air like the previous rockets because the thrust to weight ratio is way lower. Our G-forces, we're at 2 Gs. That's nothing compared to the solid rocket booster we had earlier. But that's okay, because we're not worried about G-force, we just want speed. So let's see, we're going to use WASD controls to point. You can see the little rocket engine swiveling away there at the bottom. And we're starting to get through the thick part of the atmosphere, so we'll power down a bit. Coast. Looking good. We'll use our autopilot to hold the nose in what's called prograde, which is just basically following the trajectory it's already on. It's often the most efficient way to accelerate. And you can see prograde gradually tilts the rocket's nose over. So now we're through the thick part of the atmosphere, so let's first check to see how high we're getting. Looks like our apoapsis is going to be about 3,000, so I think we can throttle up here, use the rest of our fuel. Look at that. It starts climbing rapidly. Alright, we're about to run out of fuel in our first stage. And as soon as we do, we're going to go on to the next stage. We don't want to carry all that extra weight. It will help slow us down. So, a famous quote from Interstellar: in order to get where we're going, you got to leave something behind. Alright, so now we are definitely on our way here. Let's see, we'll throttle down so we're just barely holding on to our speed. And we'll see, look how high we got. Oh boy. So we are well outside the atmosphere on this one. So we're going to have to shut the engine off and save what little delta V we have left. And we will coast up into space. So this is probably not very efficient because here we are, we're in space, we're outside of the atmosphere, and we're still going up. So we're slowing down as we go. So I'll do my best, but this isn't looking good. So I'll turn off the prograde. I'm going to point the ship at the horizon because that's the direction we want to accelerate in. And we will use our engine to accelerate towards the horizon and see what that does. So now, instead of our apoapsis getting higher, it's just getting further away. Oh, and look at that, we've run out of fuel. And this is as far as we got. Just at the end there, I'm sure you noticed the curve of the parabola getting wider and wider and getting bigger and bigger. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to expand this parabola to envelop the whole planet. But we've run out of fuel, we've run out of delta V, so it looks like either because we were inefficient or maybe there just wasn't enough delta V in the ship's design that we may never have gotten all the way into orbit with this craft. So rather than go through the whole re-entry sequence again, we're going to press escape and we're going to revert the flight to the vehicle assembly building. And look at that, we're all of a sudden right back where we started, and we can start making adjustments to the ship. So next time on Intro to KSP, we're going to take a a look at some of the other parts that we have available to us to maybe give us a little bit more of a boost and hopefully get us that last little bit into orbit. Thanks for tuning in.